Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA. Online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today's Saturday, November 26, 2022, and it's 2:06 p.m. when I'm recording this intro. I just got off the phone with Billy Hopeless, who was the singer for the Black Halos. I've known the Black Halos forever, since I was in American Heartbreak. We've done many gigs with them, and they're old friends of ours, and I've known Billy for a while, and so their new album came out on Friday, yesterday. It is a great album. Every song in this album is good. And I want to thank Chad for sending me this. He's the Chad Corney's, that's his last name. I'm not sure if that's his real last name or not, but he used to be in a band called the Spitfires, and he was also in Black Halos for a short period of time as well. He sent me the new album, and it is really good top to bottom. And Billy Hopeless is a singer. He writes great lyrics. Billy is quite the character, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he doesn't care what anybody thinks about what he says, which is, you will hear that in this interview. It's not really an interview. We're just kind of talking. And Billy is a guy who likes to talk, and a guy who it's hard to make sense out of sometimes. If you don't know him, it's hard to make sense out of stuff he says, but he's a little bit of a train wreck, but that's kind of what you want in a lead singer. You want a lead singer to be a little bit of a train wreck, and he's a good-hearted train wreck, and I like the guy a lot. Good person, writes great lyrics, and he's a punk rock lifer and rock and roll lifer as well. We both share a love of Nazareth and other things rock and roll as well. So I talked to him for about an hour. Hope you like it. This is a bonus episode, so if you're on the Patreon, you're not getting charged for this episode. But thank you, Billy Hopeless, for coming on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Before we get into the interview, let's play a song from the new album, How the Darkness Doubled. How about Better Days? Every song in this album is good, so you can just drop the needle anywhere, and it's really good. There are 12 songs on the album. It's probably going to be in the top 10 of the Rock and Roll Geek Show albums, and a lot of rock and roll anthems and just catchy tunes all together. And it got me listening to this whole kind of music that was happening back then. You know, when American Heartbreak and the Black Halos were going in the early 2000s, there was Degeneration was happening, Black Halos. There was just a cool rock and roll underground scene happening with a lot of great bands. And it got me listening to a lot of those bands. And thank you, Billy Hopeless and Black Halos, for getting me back into that kind of music again. It's been a while since I've actually listened to a lot of those songs back to back. And man, that was a good time for music. And I'm glad that Black Halos are still carrying it on. This album is better than anything they've done, and it's really good. So here's Better Days, and then we'll get into the talk I have with the great Billy Hopeless. But back it up. The unprofessionalism. All right, here's Better Days.
how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I'm not using video, so that's okay.
Okay, yeah, turn the video off.
What are you doing? Laying in
You
bed?
don't want to see me? I'm hungover. Yeah, I'm super hungover.
So what'd you do last night?
I was on this TV show on Twitch TV, which is like this sort of like, I don't know how you describe it, internet like open turf art show thing. And yeah, with this really charming fetish girl who does a show on Twitch, just playing 30 of my favorite songs. There are 30 songs I dig, and she doesn't drink, so she was like, hey, what do you like to drink? And I was like, I like whiskey. And she goes, okay. And she goes, well, I got you a bottle of Jack and a bottle of Crown Royal there. Whichever you like, and I'm like, okay. And I realized that she doesn't drink anymore, so she was using me so she could watch me drink and get drunk and go, oh, that's why I don't drink anymore.
She has a fetish video show?
Yeah, fetish and music. Well, it's a music video show, but she runs the fetish nights here in Vancouver and tours around the world doing fetish nights. So, yeah, it's pretty fun, but
what takes place on a fetish night?
At a fetish night, it's pretty much a bunch of people get dressed up and they tie people up and, all that stuff, And then they put the thump music. Usually it's the thump music. I don't go because I don't like the thump music. I'm not really into that stuff,
Thump.
It's just like...
Thump music is gay disco?
It's just like... It's not even disco. At least disco, you had bands like Boney M and stuff that actually could write have a good song, write a good song to it. That stuff, it's not even a song. It's just like voodoo drums that make you dance, right? Make the zombies dance.
Yeah. It's kind of like
you can't name a song.
It's kind of like
name a song.
If you accidentally walk in, or if you go into a gay bar or something, that's the kind of music they probably play.
No, I don't think so. I think gay people have better taste than those people.
Okay. All right. So what?
Gay people are into like good pop.
So she played
really good pop.
She played some of your favorite, 30 of your favorite songs. Is that what you said?
Yeah, just some favorite bands and favorite songs, and stuff that I wanted to hear, which I really dig because, as I say, mainstream radio always play to kids. So, it's really always good to know that you're getting to play stuff and that someone's going to hear it out there and that there's how many listeners she gets. I was like amazed and how many people watching it and that people going, and he gets his message board and shit. So they're all like cheersing and stuff. And I was like, yeah, you're loving this. And hopefully that's how you learn about music, really. Like either you go to a record store and you just stumble on something or someone says to you like, hey, you ever heard these guys? But that's the great thing about this interweb and stuff now is that we can do this now. Before you had to get like your indie TV show late at night and find one of those. Right, that's where this vibe.
Yeah, remember Night Flight?
Yeah. See, stuff like that. And now those are really cool and sacred. But even those you had to find now. We've got more options towards that to pump stuff out to each other. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. What were some of the songs that she played?
Devo Going Under is a standout. The Subhumans from Vancouver, Behind the Smile. As we get on the Lords of the New Church, Little Boys Play with Dolls. The Saints, Know Your Product. Because, come on, that song, I don't care. You put that on, the Saints, Know Your Product, and I'm like, what a song. I love that horn section, man. Where's the professor? And, we need him now.
Right.
Real West Coast, man. Yeah, that stuff. Some Zeke. This band, the Snuts from Glasgow, that I really like. The Snuts. And, Burn the Empire. Once you got a bunch of 18-year-old kids that really can play and playing and writing some real great music, but once you got an 18-year-old kid saying, Burn the Empire, I'm like, totally, you got me, right? I'm in. I'm totally in with you. Yes, Burn the Empire. So yes, please do.
She played mostly punk rock then.
Yeah. I said, me being on there, she's like, choose your stuff. And and like I said, like Devo Going Under, come on, man. Now, Gun Club, Sex Beat, these are just great songs.
Did you only play punk rock because you felt that Billy Hopeless had to play punk rock? Aren't you into other stuff too? Like, aren't you?
I'm into all kinds of
aren't
stuff.
you a big
but
Nazareth?
all kinds of stuff.
Aren't you a big
Yeah, I
Nazareth
love
fan?
Snaz. I love Snaz. Man, what a sad day. What a sad couple, I mean, this year.
Yeah.
Wizard 2.
Yep.
You know, I love Snaz. Of course, I talked all about that stuff, like Kiss and Nazareth, and like, you know, I just felt like, you know, that it's late at night and on a show like that, and I've done other shows. I did other shows where it's like that, going more into the classic rock. I was just feeling it, you know, like I can get drunk and play some of this stuff, the stuff that some of that good old rock, punk rock, and the Makers and stuff that yo-yos, bands that don't get heard, you know.
Yeah, yo-yos are great. Oh, by the way, thank you for Billy Hopeless. Thank you for coming on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. I really appreciate it, friend.
Well, I love it. You know, that way, you know, a long time. You're always good.
Last time I talked to you was when when Adam was in your band. Adam from American Heartbreak, he was in your band. I saw
we don't talk about him.
Oh, really?
We don't talk about him no more.
Adam was in American Heartbreak. What happened with Adam? You don't like him anymore?
No. I don't know. I think he sabotages everything he does, and you know,
really?
Maybe that works for him, but it don't work for me.
Yeah. He was in the band for. I saw you guys. Well, I went there because you guys at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco. Adam was in the band. That was the last time I talked to you. What happened with Adam? Did the band break up when Adam was in the band?
I quit the band.
Oh, you quit?
The band that I started. I jumped ship on the ship I built with Rich. I was the actual last original member. And, you know, me and Rich formed the band. Yeah. And I was like, fuck this shit, man. So, you know what?
When you quit, Jay, the other guitar player, was not in the band either?
No, he was gone. He'd left before. Huh. He jumped ship before. That was hard enough losing Jay. Jay's back now, and you know, that's awesome. Having Rich and Jay back, I don't care about. I'm not going to look at the past because the past already happened. I'm not looking to the future because it ain't happened yet. I'm living in the greatest gift there is, and that's the present, baby.
There you go, baby. Congratulations on the album. The album's really good, by the way. It'll probably be in my top 10. I think Rich has really come into his own in the songwriting. I think the songs on this album are better than the Michael Monroe last Michael Monroe album. Which I think Rick wrote most of the. I think Rich wrote most of the album songs on the last Michael Monroe album. I think.
Yeah. And then this album he wrote two. He wrote two songs that he completely wrote. And usually it's always been me and him bouncing off each other. And like I write all the lyrics, and either I'd come up with a song and a melody and, you know, and send it to him, or he'd come up with a guitar riff and send it to me. And we've always worked together that way, right? But on this, he's like, hey.
Losing you. Fucking lost him. Motherfucker, I hate Skype.
What the fuck?
Okay, I'm up here in the mountains, and my internet sucks, so I turned off.
That's why you're in the mountains. Yeah. Holy shit! You're in the mountains.
I had to get away from San Francisco for a little while. I got a place. I don't actually own this place.
Why, Adam?
What's
was
that?
Adam coming around?
Adam, yeah. I was hiding from Adam.
Yeah, good. Smart move.
No, I'm up here. I had to turn off the internet, so now I'm on cellular, so it's probably be okay now.
Okay, but what I was saying was that anyway, Rich, you know, these songs that he wrote and the two songs, I was like, man, these are great. Please let me sing these. The lyrics are great, you know, and I was like, I don't mind. I don't mind singing someone else's lyrics, you know, but they got to be good and up to par, up to my high standards. And, and Rich understood that. There's the songs he sent me where it's like, this album, and he said he's able to say with me, we work really well together. We don't get hurt feelings when it's like, yeah, maybe you should try and do something else. Maybe let me do something here. And maybe we don't like go, oh, fuck, how can you say that? You know, I'm a fucking genius. We look at each other and we're just like, yeah, you know, okay. And same thing, like, but when we hit brilliance, we also look at each other and go, that is so killer, man. Oh, that's it. And compliment each other. But, you know, so it works really well that way, I think. And on this album, the two songs that he wrote, Better Days and Frankie, I'm like, these are two great songs.
Yeah, I like them. Almost, I pretty much like every song on the album. There's a lot of.
Oh, thanks. That's awesome.
It's a lot of anthemic stuff too, which I like.
Yeah, we like that. We like anthems. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like I say in the song Forget Me Not, those yeah, yeah, yeahs and the whoa, whoa, whoas.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, who doesn't like that? Who
Right.
doesn't, I love that in rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like hand claps and stuff. I love that stuff. I love rock and roll. Me and Joe Jett, we got things in common.
Yeah, me too. So, by the way, I did not prepare for this. So I apologize if I'm going to be stumbling.
That's cool.
I didn't. So I'll probably be going a lot of ums and uhs.
That's okay. Me too. I'm hungover, man. I'm really hungover. So yeah, don't worry about it.
When did Rich leave? He left way back, right?
Yeah. Rich left to go find other adventures for a bit.
Was Amen? Were they a British band?
I think where were they from? I think so. Yeah, I think they were. Yeah.
So he left you guys. He left you guys. He left you guys. You did not? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't dig them. It was nothing personal. I just didn't think they were that cool. I don't know.
So he left you guys and moved to England with Amen. I guess because Amen were bigger. You guys were on Sub Pop. Amen might have been on a major label. I don't know. I don't know their music very well.
Yeah, me either. I know it's not my thing. But
were you bummed out?
Which one did it? And yeah, he left and all, which was tough. And we got in. Actually, first we had Davey French, this guy Davey French, who plays now in Everclear. Great guy, Davey French, and the guy Kelly Wheeler on bass and Davey on guitar. And the thing people don't realize that the Live Without Control album, the singles off that album, and a lot of the songs said, Beckfire came in, but we'd already toured with Davey and with Kelly that album. We'd already written and recorded stuff.
So Adam's not on that album, huh?
It was like the album's on it, but the songs were already written, right? Okay. And we were demoed and stuff with Davey and Kelly, and those songs are written by them. And I'm like, pretty much the whole album was written by them.
How did Adam come to join the band? Did he approach you guys and asked if I can be in the band?
Well, he liked the Lord to the New Church, so I thought it was a good idea. But, I guess sometimes good taste ain't always the best way to judge someone.
Yeah, Adam took over. Adam did Stiv's parts on a couple of tours, I think, with Northern New Church.
Yeah, that's just, You watch that Stiv movie, the end, listen to the end credits.
Yeah, his song is on that.
Not too good. It's not too, honestly, be honest here, even if you're his friend. Not too good. Well, I'm not going to get into his songwriting. He should stick to playing guitar. He should stick to playing guitar.
Yeah.
Keep his mouth shut.
So did you and Adam have a falling out or something?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. It's just as I said, I don't want to get into the past. The past is the past. I just don't like the guy. I just moved on and hope I don't see him again ever in my life.
Huh.
But, don't want to because it wouldn't be too good. Yeah. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I'm a pretty simple guy. I either like you or I hate you, and if you cross me, fuck you.
Now,
stay away.
Where were you when you quit? Where were you when you quit the Black Halos? Didn't you guys get your van broken into or something?
Yeah. We have in one of my favorite cities in Canada, actually, Montreal. Our van got stolen.
The whole van with the gear in and everything.
Yeah, and everything. That happens is terrible. The worst thing, crippling thing, You don't take someone's dog. You don't take your guy's gear, band's gear. And I felt for everyone in the band worse because, like a drummer, like Roub, drummers, I say it, drummers have it worse than anyone. You know how much drums cost? Like, come on. It's like being a goalie in hockey or something, like the amount of gear you need.
Yeah, well, amps ain't too cheap either. Neither are guitars.
Yeah, amps ain't cheap, but drums are just, make pieces, unless you do the Stray Cat strut or some bullshit, like drums, a good drum kit's going to, you might as well, it's going to cost you. That's insane how much just cymbals cost, right?
So you guys were on tour when the van got stolen?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I guess right after that, this band Comeback Kid, a week after, in the same club with the same parking lot, had their gear stolen. Huh. And then Iggy had his trailer stolen. And that was I think a week after that. And I was just like, fuck, man, Montreal, what's going on?
It was Montreal. Okay, I had a bad when I was in this band Exodus in Montreal. They had in Canada you could get codeine over the counter.
You still can. Yeah.
And I bought a bunch of codeine, and this was our first gig of the tour, or one of the first gigs of the tour. We're on tour with Black Sabbath, and I went to the Walgreens or whatever and bought a whole bunch of codeine and had an allergic reaction. I had to go to the hospital, and it was a fucking mess. That was in Montreal.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good strip clubs in Montreal too.
Montreal's great. I love Montreal.
Yeah.
I love Montreal. It's really terrible when you get that bitter moment in the type of place that you love, right?
So that's on the other side of Canada. So when you guys got your shit stolen, you'd have to take a Greyhound bus back home?
Well, we flew back. It was a flyback, flyback all beaten and torn. But just terrible, man. Just like, suck city.
And that's when you quit?
No, I'd sort of planned before. That last album, I don't like the last album, We Are Not Alone. People like it. I don't really like it because even recording that album, it was a big fight in the studio to get it to sound like, I remember Jack and Dino. I normally don't do backups, and Jack's like, Billy, you got to come in here and do backups. And I was like, well, what? He goes, it sounds like they turned it into the Vienna Boys Choir. And, you got to come in here and do backups because if you don't make this album tough. And I was like, and I listened to it and went, what are they trying to do? They're trying to, I get it, I guess. They're trying to become New Order, but, this is we're more Joy Division.
That's what Adam, isn't that Adam's that's what Adam likes, right?
They wanted to, I think those guys wanted to just they were like, you know what, let's sell and let's make some money and let's make a commercial sound out of this. And let's be way more commercial. And they became real concerned with that, we're getting near the end of our line. Let's try and sell out now. And I was like, fuck that. I didn't start this band to sell out.
Was Adam in the band then too?
Yeah, at that point. And it was, that album. I think if you listen to that album, I think my lyrics on that whole album are pretty much about telling the guys in the band, I want out of this. You guys made this. You guys are ruining something I love, and I'm not happy. And it's because of you guys. And I remember saying that they're like, oh, the song Disbelief. Yeah, it should be the single. That song's so good. And I was like, you know what it's about? It's me giving you guys a middle finger and saying, fucking see ya, jumping off the ship. That's what the song.
Did you tell them that?
Yeah. So that's what the song's about. So I'm glad you like it, assholes.
Was that, what label was that on?
That one was on History Music, which this guy Daddy Cameo started up here in Canada.
Okay. One of the albums was on Liquor and Poker, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was Live Without Control. Yeah.
American Heartbreak was on Liquor and Poker too. That label wasn't around for very long.
No, it's the usual. It's a good fun run. I think the Swedish, I've learned a lot from the Swedish bands like Backyard Babies.
Yeah, they were on there, and Helicopters were on there too.
Hanway, that they just run in, grab, and run out, right? Like pirates. Yeah, like pirates, just in and out, take the money and run, right?
The guy who owned not the guy who owned it, but the guy who was in charge of Liquor and Poker. He was a cool guy. He liked good music.
Yeah, he liked to party a lot too, and I think that's it. I think he wanted to live the rock star lifestyle in some ways, and it's not always a good plan. I've learned that it's not always a good plan to have someone who's doing it because they want to live that rock star ideal and dream, because the money goes pretty quick, right? Yeah.
I don't know how much they gave you for the album, but I don't think Liquor and Poker had big budgets.
I think they did, but as I say, I think Backyard Babies and bands like that came in and went, scoop, run.
Yeah, Backyard Babies and Helicopters were the two big
bands.
They
did really good with us. They treated us really good. It's easy to complain, but they gave us a lot, and they treated us really good too. So I can't really say, with those other bands, they treated us really good. But we didn't. We kind of. I think we were kind of the kids going, "Oh, let's go to the gas station and buy candy with it."
American Heartbreak was on Liquor and Poker, that last album, and they offered us a lot. And we had a manager. We had this new manager guy who thought he could get more. And by the time he finished negotiating, we got like 1/5 of the original offer. He almost negotiated us out of a deal.
There you go. Yeah, well, I offered you this much, but now actually, how about we give you this much?
Yeah.
Like you say, some people should just stick to keeping their mouth shut.
Yeah, I know how it is. So Rich left, moved to England. He still lives in Europe. Or I'm guessing he still lives in England.
Yep.
He's
in Canada.
He lives in
Canada. He's in Ontario.
So he lives in Canada now, huh?
Yeah, he's back in Canada.
Huh.
Rich has been a world traveler, man of mystery. He's been Mr. International. He's been all over the place.
So he just goes to Europe to do Michael Monroe stuff.
Yeah, he goes to Finland, eh? To Finland to do that, and
Rich was putting together the Ginger birthday parties for a while.
He's done a lot, Jones, he's done a lot. Like he was in yo-yos, and he was like, he's been doing a lot. He's done a lot. He was in the royalties. He's done a lot, that guy. And I'm just happy he's back, that we're back. And because, there's no one I write better with. I was doing some stuff with other people too. And, I think it's good to, sometimes to break up and see other people and keeps the relationship fresh. But when you find that magic combination, that's really, I think it is that once in a lifetime combo. And that me and Rich, we write really good together.
When did he move back to Canada?
I can't remember when that was. It was like quite a few years ago. COVID makes everything a blur. We lost 2 years of our lives. It's like, wow. We lost 2 years. I went into an opium den and came back 2 years later.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Whose idea was it to get Black Halos back? Did you ask him, or did he say, "Hey, you want to get the band back together"?
We started talking and stuff, and I put out this solo. I had a band called the Benitos, and then I blew up that and said, "I'm out of this." Same sort of thing up. And I was like, "Well, to hell with it. I'm sick of these problems. I gotta do solo stuff." So I did a solo 7-inch and got some friends of mine to play on it. And I was like, it'd be really cool. Since we're talking, hey, Rich, you want to play guitar on this? And Rich said, yeah. He goes, let me hear it. And he listened to the song and said, oh, it's a great song. Yeah, I'll play guitar on that. So Rich recorded guitar and we put it on. And then people in Spain were asking me if I wanted to go tour there and do like a solo tour. And I was like, yeah, hey, Rich, you want to come play guitar with me on the solo tour? And you get, some guys in Spain to play. They're offering to play as my band. And Basque Street Boys, Rich, do you want to come with me and play? And Rich said, well, if you and me are doing it, we might as well do Halos, right?
Uh-huh.
And I went, well, yeah, sure, do the Halos. And that's when we went and had a great time together. And, it was really good. And we started talking about, maybe we should start writing and do an album and recording some stuff together. And the plan was to do it in Spain, but no, we didn't. We just ended up getting drunk. And so it's pretty funny. When we got back, I think it was kind of like, well, actually, now, okay, we've had the party, now let's get to work. And we started writing, and yeah, it's great.
So when you guys played Spain, you went as the Backyard Babies or Billy?
No, we went as Black Halos.
Oh, what did I say? Backyard Babies. I apologize.
Yeah,
Backyard Babies.
Yeah. Rich was playing Dragon, and I was playing. Yeah.
I'm thinking Black Market Babies for some reason.
Yeah, no, that was just when we started.
Yeah.
That was like,
I think that's when American Heartbreak did gigs with you guys, is when you were the Black Market Babies.
Yeah, probably. That was way back, right?
Yeah. We played with you guys One time we played with you guys in Seattle when we were up in Seattle recording that Postcards from Hell album. And it was kind of, I don't remember the name of that place. Anyway, so.
Velvet Elvis?
What was it called? The Velvet Elvis. That's right, yes.
Yeah. That was great. I love that place. I miss that place.
Yeah. What's the scene? Oh, we were going to go play, I think we might have been going to play a gig with you guys in Vancouver. And we got stopped at the Canadian border. And we sat at the border for like 8 hours. They made us empty our van at the Canadian border, search the inside of the van, questioned us all separately, found out that Curtis, our guitar player, this is before Adam, Curtis, our guitar player, had some kind of drug arrest or something, and they wouldn't let us in.
I like Curtis.
Yeah,
Curtis was awesome. I liked him.
Yeah, he's dead now. He died of cancer. Rest in peace. Curtis was a good
Rest
guy.
in peace, Curtis. You were all right. I liked you.
And so we got held there for like 8 hours, and then we they said no, you can't come into the country. So we had to turn around to get, and then the U.S. Customs made us empty our van and searched us, and got held back for another like 4 hours.
Yeah, isn't it great? Isn't it great? It's not great when the stormtroopers are there, and
that sucked, man. That didn't give us a very good taste of Canada or Seattle.
Nah.
And Billy's our guitar player, his girlfriend was driving the van, and she was from Seattle, and she goes, let me handle this. I'm really good with customs, and she talked our way into getting searched for like 8 hours.
Yeah, that'll happen. That can happen. I remember Randy Rampage from DOA doing that at the airport, looking and going to our old bass player, Matt. Randy looks and goes, they pull off his bullet belt, Randy's bullet belt, and they're like, and he's like, yeah, hey, Matt, you got the gun, right? They don't like that at the airport, let me tell you.
Yeah. As a matter, speaking of DOA, when we were on our way to that gig, we stopped. We were at a record store in Seattle, and Joey Shithead was at the record store, and we told him, "Hey, we're playing in Vancouver," and he goes, "You better be careful at the border. They're not going to let you in." And sure enough, he was right.
Be careful at the border. They're not going to let you in.
Yeah. So you still live in Vancouver?
Yeah. They're all in Ontario now. The band's all in Ontario, and I'm here in Van still.
Where's Ontario in relation to Vancouver and Montreal?
It's out east. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, it's really cold out east, but here I like it here on the West Coast because it's pretty mild, right? Our winters are pretty mild here.
Yeah. Is Ontario close to Montreal?
Yeah. They're both out east.
Oh, it's closer to Detroit, isn't it?
Yeah, Toronto's closer to New York.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So Ontario is closer to Detroit. That's kind of the Midwest.
Yeah. No, it's east. They're east, man. They're east in Canada.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, geography ain't me forte, so I apologize.
Yeah, no, I don't know much about geography. Don't know much about biology.
Yeah. You know much about history? Okay.
Yeah, don't know much about science books. Don't know much about that French I took.
So the album now, what's the label it's on? Did you guys put this out yourself? No, it's on Stomp.
Stomp Records. Yeah, it's a good Canadian punk label, and yeah, we're pretty happy with them. They're really cool. They're great. Yeah, great label, great guys, and good distro, good European distro. They're good.
The guy who sent me the album is doing your press. Chad. He was in the Spitfires, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he in the Halos for a while too?
Yeah, he was in the Halos. He's been around. Chad's been around us since he was a kid, man.
Yeah, it's a cool guy. I like him.
Yeah, I love Chad. He's great. Yeah, and he's I say our crew is great because it's all people like Chad. We got Tony Lima, who used to run Call the Office, a bar in London, Ontario, that we'd always play at, and has known Jay forever. It's like, it's a real family we got going here. I really like that, that aspect of it, of going the same sort of thing. It's like everyone's out to everyone. I thank everyone for it. That everyone's really out to, because they love the band.
Yeah.
And we're not easy to get along with. And I look at like Tony, I'm like, and same with Chad, I'm like, you guys are dealing with us, but then it's kind of like, well, these are the only guys who probably can deal with us.
You're not easy to get along with. We never had any problem getting along with you guys.
When you put us together, it's like people say that gives us comparisons to bands like the Stooges and stuff, and I'm like, the Stooges, we're more like the Marx Brothers, and I wish Hypo would shut up.
Have you guys played gigs with this lineup after the records been recorded?
Yeah, we played right before COVID. Actually, we put out a single, and right before COVID, we played a sold out night in Toronto, and then 2 sold out nights here in Vancouver, and then COVID hit, and it was all fucked. And then, so now we're getting back at it. We went and played a couple shows. We played with L7 out in Toronto, our sister's L7, which was awesome.
So this album's been recorded before COVID. This album was finished before the COVID thing?
No, it wasn't. It was in the works before COVID. We just went and played, But now it's after COVID. We got together and we had a lot of time. It was great. COVID was kind of good because it gave us more time to work on stuff. To go, I would re-listen to that. Me and Rich, I listened to that again, and maybe we should work on this part. And that's, it's dangerous ground. Sometimes you overwork stuff, but I think it was good for us. It gave us time to weed out and to write better, even we could go, this song's pretty good, but we only want the best. That's always been our attitude, is nothing but the top shelf. So, let's throw that one away, and time to argue over stuff like that.
Well, how many songs got thrown away?
I don't know. I can't even count. You don't even count then. You don't count that stuff. You don't count the abortions. You only count the beautiful babies.
Okay. So what do you do for a living, Rich? Hey, Rich, what do you do for a living, Rich?
I work in social housing. I'm kind of like, I say, the Den brother. I'm an overnight in social housing.
Social housing? What's social housing?
That's where, our homeless situation is crazy down here. So the government and these people are sort of the government helps fund, but these people that have money actually went, which is really a cool thing. So went, hey, let's make a nonprofit housing, and bought these old buildings and made new buildings. And went, here, let's make it a really super, super, super affordable housing for homeless people, where the government basically helps sponsor and fund them to get into housing. And people with mental issues and, with addiction problems. And then you got guys like me who are trained and put in to deal with it and sort of to help them on their way and to make sure everything stays cool.
So what are you, a counselor?
No, I'm a den brother. I'm the night wolf.
So you're kind of the night watchman at the homeless shelter.
But also I'm the guy that you call at 4 a.m. and somebody yells out Narcan, and I go running in and jab that Narcan needle into the arm and pump the chest and do CPR. And wait for the paramedics. Paramedics going,